Welcome to episode 3 of our Mad Royal series. We'll put a link to the first 2 episodes in the description for you.
In this episode, we're looking at Princess Alexandra of Bavaria and King Erik of Sweden, two more royals who were absolutely mad.
Let's dig into this.
Princess Alexandra of Bavaria was the fifth daughter and eighth child of King Ludwig I of Bavaria, now a part of Germany. She was a great beauty and, as always with a royal daughter, a valuable asset to her father in the marriage market. She and her sisters would be married to members of nobility to strengthen their father's power.
Except Alexandra was quite special from a young age. When Prince Louis Bonaparte, a son of Napoleon's brother, asked for her hand in the 1850s, Alexandra's father said no. His daughter had delicate health, he claimed.
Alexandra was extremely intelligent and devoted herself to her studies. In a modern move for her day, she decided to have a career of sorts and planned to never marry. She excelled at languages and would translate books and plays into German. She also wrote her own stories and essays, and she was pretty good.
She was also more than a little odd and most certainly had OCD. Both a germaphobe and completely obsessed with cleanliness, in an age where dresses were made of yards and yards of beautiful fabrics and rich colors and patterns were the fashion, Alexandra would only wear white, no matter where she was going or what she was doing.
And strangest of all, she was convinced she had swallowed a glass grand piano as a child. Not just a piano, but a grand piano. Terrified of anyone bumping into her or bumping into anything herself, the poor girl would creep slowly around the castle, moving sideways through doors and avoiding anything or anyone who came too near, so the piano would not shatter into pieces.
She wasn't the only person with the glass delusion. It was recorded numerous times, mainly in Europe. From the late Middle Ages, Alexandra's nephew, King Ludwig II, also suffered from the condition. So did King Charles VI of France.
Alexandra's life seems to have suited her, though. She was abbess of the Royal Chapter for Ladies of St. Anne and had numerous published books and essays. She died in September of 1875 at the age of 49 at her father's castle, and at some point had accepted wearing dark colors, perhaps as a sign of mourning, along with her white wardrobe.
Erik XIV was the eldest son of King Gustav I of Sweden. He was very smart and a talented artist, along with reportedly being extremely sensitive. Watching your father, the king, chase servants around the castle with a knife and pull out chunks of your sister's hair when they disobeyed is enough to make anyone on edge. Gustav wasn't all bad, though. He's still known as the father of the Swedish nation for establishing the monarchy.
Born in 1533, Erik was given an excellent education in mathematics, history, the arts, and foreign languages, but his favorite thing to do was to have parties. By the time his father made him a duke at the age of 24, his parties were well known as lavish affairs where the food, and especially the drinks, flowed. Erik was becoming famous for being tipsy all the time.
Good looking, with an impressive beard and a throne to inherit, Erik thought he was quite the catch, and he couldn't wait to get married. Despite his father forbidding it, Erik wrote marriage proposals to all the eligible ladies of Europe, including Queen Elizabeth I, who he became absolutely obsessed with. He spent years trying to get Elizabeth to marry him and kept himself busy while waiting with a succession of mistresses, with whom he had several children, and heavy drinking and partying. King Gustav thought Erik was wasting his life.
About the time Erik cooked up a plan to go to England and force Elizabeth to marry him, an idea that would have ended very badly, his father died, making Erik king of Sweden and changing his plans. He threw himself a grand coronation party and decided to redecorate his new castle, spending shocking amounts of money on luxury furnishings and lots of booze. He also put limits on his brothers, who did whatever they wanted despite Erik's wishes. Sound familiar? And on the Swedish nobility, whom he hated.
Erik did some good instituting a new Swedish constitution and a Supreme Court. He also decided to expand Swedish territory. He was continuously frustrated with his half-brother John, the Duke of Finland, who had no respect for him and ignored the limits placed in his power. So Erik sent an army to Finland and had John tried for high treason and thrown in prison for several years.
His new territory was a problem to hold on to, and he found himself fighting 2 wars through much of his reign. With the family and political problems piling up, Erik snapped, chasing servants around the castle and killing them, just like his father had. He had become more and more erratic and violent, and paranoid, convinced the nobility was plotting against him. His manic mood swings meant on a good day you could be adored, while on a bad day, coughing in his presence could get you accused of treason.
Nothing seemed to be going his way, except for his relationship with his mistress Karen Mansdaughter. They already had 2 children together when Erik decided to marry her, despite her being a commoner. At first his marriage and family seemed to have a stabilizing effect, but soon Erik became convinced everyone was whispering behind their backs and laughing at them.
Erik had several members of the influential Sture family arrested and imprisoned at Uppsala, accusing Nils Sture of treason. To make a long story short, he released Nils and then threw him back in prison shortly before deciding to murder 5 members of the family with his guards and personally stab Nils to death. Before he rode away, Erik instructed his guards to kill every prisoner at the castle.
His former tutor reportedly found Erik nearby, nearly incoherent, babbling and pacing. The tutor tried to calm him, as he probably had done many times before. Erik ordered his immediate death and disappeared into the nearby woods. He would be found wandering around days later, wearing peasant clothing.
It was the beginning of the end for Erik, with his brother John taking power and eventually succeeding as John III. Citing his insanity, Erik was legally dethroned in 1569 and kept in prison for almost 10 years, before dying in 1577 at the age of 43, after what was announced as a long illness. Soon there were rumors that he was poisoned by his brother, and later documents were discovered giving permission to Erik's jailers to poison him if anyone tried to help him escape.
But it wasn't until his body was exhumed in 1958, 381 years after his death, that analysis showed his final meal of pea soup contained extremely high levels of arsenic.
Thanks for watching,
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, here's another DragonDen video you might like.
And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button.
And you can hit the notification bell if you'd like to know when our videos come out.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.